My gut tells me that they were ambushed.
So, I had assumed this whole time for 6 months now that it happened in the middle of the night.
And now we know it was the middle of the day. Absolutely.
Broad daylight.
Broad daylight.
I don't want to get her involved in this. I don't want to ruin her life. Like it's something like this. I don't want her involved in this. Okay.
At some point, Chris locates what's called a dry bag.
Brian Laundrie's body has been found. Law enforcement had considered Laundrie the only person of interest in the murder of his fiancée, Gabby Petito.
You're the one that filed the missing persons report.
Yeah, and I'll totally come forward with that.
That's all it is the truth. So there's nothing to hide in that coroner's report. There's nothing to hide by not having Calli take a polygraph. And if the truth comes out, and this was a...
How do you deal with it? I had to sneak the other day when I was with Josie. I had to sneak and talk to him. I had to sneak and talk to him about his sister.
Makes me think the worst. Like, did you do that to all three of them?
Hey everybody, thanks for being here. I pretty much had the chance to go live in the afternoon while the baby naps, so I figured that that's what we would end up doing again today like we did yesterday. And hi Katie. Let me just give a minute for some people to show up, and then we'll get started with the Cassie Carli case. And I'm sure you guys have seen the updates as far as the autopsy. They needed more time to finish the autopsy with the toxicology reports, and that will help determine cause and manner of death, apparently. They were able to identify her by tattoos, but they weren't able to kind of give a estimate of, how she died, it seemed. So I'm a little bit, disturbed that they just don't have an indicator at this point of the cause and manner of death. Like, I fear, did he burn her, or is it something worse? I just don't understand. But so let me just get started, and I'll share my screen, and we'll go through the court TV, and then I'll read the text messages, which are on the screen right here. They are from 2019, and these are text messages that were used, I believe, during their custody. So we'll just get right into it. Give me 1 second, guys.
I know you said he wasn't cooperative. Is he speaking now that her remains have been discovered?
No, all he said was lawyer. That's all he said.
And does he have any known criminal history with this department or any other that you know of?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Hey guys, I'm the founder and CEO of GEM. I was inspired to start
Okay,
GEM
and for fair
own.
use purposes, I'll
Welcome back
be pausing and commenting as well.
to Closing Arguments. I'm Michael Ayala, in tonight for Vinnie Politan. We begin this hour with a case that began in Santa Rosa County, Florida last week. 37-year-old mother Cassie Carli was last seen on March 27th in a Florida restaurant parking lot where she was meeting her 4-year-old's father, Marcus Spanevelo, for a custody exchange. Carli's car and purse were found just 2 days later on a boat overflow ramp near the restaurant. Now, over the weekend, after an extensive search, the Santa Rosa County Sheriff's Office announced that Carli's body had been found in a shallow grave in Alabama. Now, her child's father was arrested in Lebanon, Tennessee, where he is currently being held on charges of tampering with evidence, giving false information concerning a missing persons investigation, and destruction of evidence. Missing, of course, is a murder charge. More on that later. Santa Rosa County Sheriff Bob Johnson held a press conference about the case yesterday. Here's a look at some of what he had to say.
So Cassie Carli, who's been missing now for about a week, we discovered her body while executing a search warrant in Alabama. It was in a barn in a shallow grave. So it's not the ending that we wanted, obviously, but we're hoping to provide a little closure for the family. And also, as you know, as we reported earlier, the suspect is currently in jail in Maury County, Tennessee, on charges of tampering with evidence and giving false info reference missing persons investigation. Our major crimes unit, I can tell you this, I've never been more proud of them. They've served multiple search warrants in multiple states, traveled over 1,500 miles in a week searching for evidence in reference to this crime. So I want to thank them, but I also want to thank FDLE, FBI, Fish and Wildlife, Tennessee Highway Patrol, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, Alabama Investigation Division, St. Clair County SO, Alabama, Springfield PD, Alabama, Walton County, Bay County, and Okaloosa County for their assistance. That tells you how far out this went. We're just proud that we've got this guy in custody.
And so far, like, I feel like everyone has like the same opinion about the investigation thus far. And it's just been very smooth and very professional. And I really like so far the law enforcement here who are working the case. I just get good feelings about it.
Obviously, more charges will be pending, depending on the autopsy, which will occur tomorrow morning. If you have any questions in reference to extradition or charges that will be pending on him, I'll defer to the state attorney. So do you have questions? Yes.
Do you guys know how she was killed?
No. The autopsy will reveal that tomorrow, hopefully.
Has he been cooperative with this investigation?
Absolutely not. No.
What was the tip or what was the information that led you guys to this place in Alabama? Are you guys revealing where she was found exactly?
No, and we're not revealing how we found that location either right now. So you got to remember it's an ongoing investigation. So we can just tell you that we had information that led us to that place. We got a search warrant and we discovered the body.
I'm sorry, you may have said, but her body was found overnight or this morning? Or?
It was found yesterday evening.
Is the shed connected at all to Mr. Spanevelo?
It is in a roundabout way, but we can't get into that either. But he does have a connection to the property.
Or it would say if the body was found like out in the open or covered or
no, a shallow grave.
Regarding the previous charges, can you get it all into what evidence he tampered with and what evidence he might have destroyed?
Yeah, it was in reference to the victim's phone. He took her phone and basically got rid of it. So.
Were you guys able to ever locate the phone?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Where?
We're not going to go into that one.
And how did he lie to investigators? What did he lie about?
He lied a couple of times actually in different scenarios, but what was the exact thing?
We just got clear and convincing evidence that the information he gave us was materially false.
Yeah.
That we were able to confirm.
How did police encounter him yesterday? Was this during a traffic stop or?
Yeah, actually our detectives went to Tennessee and got with the Tennessee Highway Patrol and Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, and they did surveillance, found him, and took him down on a traffic stop and arrested him.
So obviously, Thursday, when you guys had the other press conference, it was clear that he was a suspect or a person of interest. You guys were keeping tabs on it.
Right.
Do you feel like he was on the move at a flight risk? Do you think he was trying to leave or hide? Or?
Well, I can't speak for his thought process. I can tell you this: he was.
And I'm sure everyone has already seen this press conference, but these were actually some of the good highlights that Court TV has pointed out for everyone to kind of look at. And yeah, apparently when her sister comes on here and speaks too, they're under the impression that it was premeditated. I know that we've kind of bounced around with the idea and it was very early on anyways, but from what I'm understanding coming from the family, it seems as though they do feel like it was premeditated just from knowing the turbulence in their relationship prior.
He was totally uncooperative. He never cooperated at all with us. And that goes a long way. I mean, you think about it, it's your baby's mother and she's missing and you're not going to cooperate with authorities. That's kind of telltale.
All right, so now the district attorney later on would say that once they figure out and do the autopsy and figure out the cause of death, we could see murder charges in this case. All right, let's bring in tonight's guest. Joining me in Clearwater, Florida, private investigator.
And again, like we've said before, we're pretty much waiting on, I guess, toxicology reports for that autopsy to kind of know more about the cause and manner of death. And hi, Florida. Thanks for being here. And I saw BLN is in here and Marshall Dove. Really appreciate you guys being here. It's nap hour, so I feel like this might be a good time for me to do live streams when I have something set up. And yeah, so it said yesterday on Twitter that the autopsy has been completed, but it is pending further studies. St. Clair County Coroner Dennis Russell tells me, and this is to reporter, obviously, he asked if a toxicology examination was being conducted. He said yes, and those things in his county can take as long as months. So hopefully it doesn't take that long to kind of get back more information on this, because it'd be really nice if we could kind of get the information as quick as we were getting his arrest and the body found. It would be, I guess, asking for a little too much, though, if we expected all that to happen, but we'll see.
Investigator Mike Peasley in Salt Lake City, Utah, private investigator Jason Jensen, and in Navarre, Florida, a special guest is joining us by phone. Cassie's sister, Rayanne, is with us. I want to thank you all for being with me. And Rayanne, I want to start with you first and foremost by expressing our condolences from all of us here at Court TV. I know this is a difficult time for you, so we truly appreciate you joining us on the show. And I'll begin with you by asking you how you and the family are in fact holding up.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we're holding up. We're okay. We got Sailor coming on the way home, and so we'll have a little piece of Cassie with us, and we're going to be just fine. Thank you so much.
And right off the bat, I just get really good vibes from this family. They're just really on top of everything. Florida, she was reported missing on Sunday, the 27th, and it's already escalated to finding her body, and it was a custody exchange gone wrong. This guy's been very abusive towards his baby's mother, so that kind of gets you caught up a little bit. Florida bass fishing, he said, don't know anything about this case. It's kind of unraveling rather quickly. And hello, Karen. Thank you for being here. This family, Florida bass fishing, has also been in contact with Gabby Petito's family and has been getting moral support from them also. So that's really nice to hear.
All right, and I wanted to turn next to the good news, the fact that the child is alive, and it sounds like it's going to be a happy reunion. Tell us a little bit about that, how she's doing, and what's going to happen going forward.
Oh, she's doing amazing. We're looking forward to having her back home with Grandpa and Auntie and everyone else, just ready to shower her with a bunch of love. So,
yeah, that's fantastic news. Tell us a little bit about Cassie. I know you were on recently. For those who might have missed it, tell us a little bit about her, what she was like, what she liked to do.
Oh, my sister, she loved the beach so much. Outdoors, paddleboarding. She's just got the biggest smile that you walk into a room or she walks in and just lights the whole thing up. She is one of a kind and truly the brightest soul I've ever been honored to know.
That's wonderful. And again, we're really sorry for your loss. Mike Peasley, let me get you into the conversation.
So as we stated also yesterday, there is ongoing efforts to get the daughter in custody of Cassie's family. So like she had said, they'll always have a piece of their sister with the little one, which is so sad to have to, have something to remember your sister by in that manner. It's just her life was just taken way too soon. She's 37 years old. And yeah, this dirtbag, which is what the Florida law enforcement was calling him, has nicknamed him dirtbag. So it sounds pretty accurate.
Here, this was an interesting, in that press conference, the sheriff talked about the effort that went into getting the information that they had here. They said they covered about 1,500 miles. They were serving warrants, chasing leads. Finally, of course, the hard work and all the legwork led to results, not the ones they wanted, but certainly it was able to give the family some closure. Your thoughts on the cooperation there between apparently a number of different departments and all the work that went into getting this done relatively quickly?
Kudos to the police department on this one for how fast they worked on that and the time that they traveled and the search warrants that they executed. You know.
Yeah, I agree, Karen. When he changed the meeting place for the drop off in exchange for the daughter, he planned to take her. Yeah. And it seems as though, the property that was tied to him where her body was found, maybe he didn't think that they would find the connection, because it seemed to have taken some digging, and they kind of went to other things first with warrants and all that. So, and hello, sweet Irish girl 86. Thank you for being here. And after I play this court TV segment, there were text messages that I'd mentioned earlier that have been shared that were part of their custody proceedings. So we'll get into reading them also.
Doing the same as they did on several cases when I was in law enforcement. It takes a number of agencies to collectively put everything together, and I thought they did a great job on this.
Yeah, I think that's the only way to describe it. Cassie, I know you're probably thankful. And he mentioned, I'm sorry, not Cassie, I'm sorry, Rayanne. The sheriff mentioned that, in fact, he thought this might bring closure, the fact that they were able to find your sister. I wanted to check in with you. Did, in fact, it provide that for you?
Oh, yes. Tremendous relief and closure. We're just so happy we can bring her home and make her comfortable.
So that's good. Obviously it makes sense. Once your loved one sadly goes missing and you can find their body, obviously the family will get some closure. So that is good to hear that even the sister has come out and saying everything that has gone on so far obviously is tragic, but it's given us the closure that we need. And hello, Alex Erickson and Rebecca. Thank you guys for being here on such short notice.
Now and celebrate her life.
All right, Jason, let me check in with you real quick. During the press conference, we didn't hear it here on the air, but they talked about the fact that, this guy was truly and utterly uncooperative, and flags went up. And quite frankly, the ones closest to the people who end up disappearing or, worse, unfortunately, are the first people you look at. But when someone like this is uncooperative in this situation, the red flags have to go up all over the place.
Yes, I would agree, Mike. He definitely put a target on his back by not cooperating, number one, because, the sheriff.
And this is the private investigator who's speaking right now, Jason Jensen. He is working the Moab double homicide case, and he has been coming on court TV segments like this and given his opinion on cases and his insight. And hello, Yanni, thank you for being here. So when that's what I don't understand about, is this man, yes, Alex, I agree. God, he really is just so scary looking. I agree. And is this just a classic case of a narcissist who really believed that he would end up getting away with this? Because they're talking about, as soon as she went missing, the first person you kind of look at is those closest to the person. And obviously this guy would have had a red flag around him immediately. So is this narcissism that, obviously it's a personality disorder, but does that explain why, he just assumed he'd be okay and get away with all this? I just don't understand, obviously, the psychology behind these acts. And I don't know what you guys think, but it's just, yeah, he's really scary looking. And then you see him holding their baby in like a picture, and I'm like, just shows how many different faces these type of characters can use and show to the world.
All right, looks like we might have lost Jason there. All right, we'll get back to him in just a second. Rayanne, let me bring you back in very quickly. You know, one of the things in reading about this case was that your sister had mentioned to quite a few people, actually, that if something were to happen to her, they would know where to look. And that, of course, was the gentleman who was arrested, Marcus Spanevelo. Did you know him at all, or did she talk about their relationship at all?
Yes, yes, and I had met him the very first night. I got a bad vibe from him and let her know. There were many red flags right from the start. And my sister, she'd always feared, and she was taking the proper steps. There were many exchanges where my father did ride with her, and he has a concealed carry. And she was taking the proper steps.
And we had talked a little bit about that yesterday, how the father would go with Cassie to do these exchanges at times, and see how the sister just said he has a concealed carry. I mean, that is just to throw that in there. It just gives you an extra emphasis of how weary the whole family pretty much was about this guy and Cassie's involvement with him. And unfortunately, he was the father of their daughter that they were sharing custody with. But it just seems like, you know, if the sister has to throw in, he's a concealed to carry, like, we're getting the visual that even on these meetups that the father would attend and supervise, he had comfort knowing that his weapon was in arm's reach.
Steps, just unfortunately, that's why we fear it may be planned, because he was extremely nice and recently, so I think she had her guard down a little bit.
Yeah, again, Mike Peasley, you know, these child exchanges.
Yeah, Alex, she said, why would she get in his car then, you know, wonder what happened exactly. Like, I hope we end up getting more answers as far as like, because obviously it was him. They haven't charged him with the murder, but you know, I'm pretty certain that it was him. So what more are they going to uncover on the process of how this went down? And they just said right there that she had her guard down a little bit because he'd been so nice. And I'm wondering if that's another indication of this being premeditated, because if he had this sort of planned out and then decided today would be the day and it was time for him to strike on the plan, you know, it's like, how far in advance was he trying to be all like, oh, you know, you can trust me and meet up with me, yada, yada, you know? So it's just interesting that the sister says that he'd been nice and she might have had her guard down. It's just so tragic because he seems very crafty, even though he was reprehended, and arrested on other charges. You know, it's just interesting that he might have been trying to get her to think like, I think we can do this co-parenting type thing. Yeah, I agree, Rebecca. Why does anyone murder anyone is a very good question. And I believe that is connected to a combination of things. I do too. Genetics, environment. Alex, wow, he had been nice to her to get her to let her guard down. Yeah. Maybe he did, Karen. She said he must have forced her using a weapon. It is so easy for Florida residents to obtain a handgun or any gun. And whether that's a good thing or not, you know, it depends on the situation and who's able to get their hands on it. But Alex said, will they wait and charge him after the autopsy results? So they were supposed to give us they did the autopsy yesterday morning. I'm not saying that they were supposed to give us the results, but now they're pending more information pretty much. And so far that law enforcement has made it seem they only identified her by the tattoo that she had. And obviously they were waiting for the autopsy for clear confirmation of manner and cause of death, but I'm getting like a sick feeling that like if they relied on tattoos to identify her, what type of state was she in? I don't know. It's just sad. It's just like, I mean, look, he looks like a nice guy here.
You know, they often give advice to folks to do it in public places. It seems like Cassie did, in fact, do that. It was in the parking lot of a restaurant, yet things went sideways. Anything else you can tell us about these exchanges, how dangerous they are, and ways to make sure you stay safe when these situations arise?
Well, first and foremost, my thoughts and prayers go out to the family. At least they have closure and they have the little one coming home. You know, there's a lot of lessons to be learned here, especially when the family or the ex.
And I am happy that we don't have to deal with a child's demise in this, because so many times, and even on my channel, we've discussed cases where children are victims. And if we have to look at the positive, you know, the daughter is going to be given to Cassie's family. Karen, I believe she said, did the exchange location have cameras? They're saying that it was a dark setting. So I'm wondering if maybe the cameras they have tried to look at were just maybe not good quality, or it was dark, they said. So I don't know, Sasa. I'm not sure. I hope not, but I'm almost feeling like this guy has just had so much hate against her. Like he was doing false police reports and child protective service reports against her, just staged for years. He's just been a complete nightmare, according to her family. It's just terrible.
Has funny feelings about that. You know, we always tell people, meet in a police station, make it public, a big public place. I don't know what escalated this guy's behavior at this point. And I could be wrong, so the family would have to answer that. I think recently they were talking, Cassie was talking about getting more child support. Was there problems with the visitation? So yeah, the lesson to be learned here is I always tell people, do the exchange in a police station.
And that's just so sad that and it's so prevalent. And yes, Rebecca, I agree. I should be resting, but this case has just got my focus right now. And I just want to know more answers. There's a lot of mystery surrounding it at this moment because we don't have the autopsy results. So I'm just kind of like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so he's talking about lessons learned, and they've talked about this a lot just in true crime groups that I'm in, and just spreading awareness. If there's a situation like this with the parents, yeah, public setting, meet them there. And again, I'm not victim blaming her, but it's just, if we have to look at positives, other people who are in a similar situation like this, where they're just up and down with their ex, and it can go both ways. It could be man or woman who are just erratic and up and down. So for the safety of the child, also just have it be in a public setting.
Or in a public place, so that there's cameras and stuff.
All right, excellent advice, Rayanne. We do have to go take a quick break, and I'm going to let you go, but I want to give you an opportunity to say some last words to our audience. You know, we'll continue to follow this case. Of course, anything you would like to leave us with?
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know I appreciate all the condolences and support. And thank you for helping bring Cassie home. Mission was accomplished. And we are starting the Cassie Carli Foundation. So please stay tuned. My sister's story lives on.
All right, Rayanne, Carli, once again, I want to make sure to express our condolences, and you stay strong. Gentlemen, stand by. We're going to take a break.
Just super classy and well-spoken. It's just, I don't think, and I give this sister so much credit, Rayanne. If this happened to one of my siblings, would I be on court TV after finding out like within a week? Like I'd give these people so much credit. Like, holy cow. Hi, Tony. Meet in a public or have someone with you you trust. Exactly. And I know that can be like annoying. Like they had mentioned that her father would go with her. Maybe you feel like, oh, I don't want to burden my family and have them go with me. And it seems like he was getting her and manipulating her in a way where she felt safer around him, and it's calculated. It sounds like not victim blaming, learning from a heartbreaking case. Exactly. True crime, loving blonde. Exactly.
Jason Jensen, Mike Peasley, you guys are staying with me. When we come back, a private investigator involved in the search for Cassie Carli will actually be joining us, so don't go away. We'll hear what she has to say about the search for Cassie Carli.
Or your money back.
I know you said he wasn't cooperative. Is he speaking now that her remains have been discovered?
No, all he said was lawyer. That's all he said.
And does he have any known criminal history with this department or any other that you know?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
That was Bob Johnson, the sheriff of Santa Rosa County in Florida, announced.
I really like Bob so far. What do you guys think of him? I'm getting, obviously I'm feeling good about the way everything's gone down. But I was going to pause it for a reason. Now I can't remember. Hold on. Let me go back a second. Maybe I'll remember if I re-see it. And thanks for being here again, guys. Really appreciate it.
That was Bob Johnson, the sheriff of.
Remains have been discovered?
No, all he said was lawyer. That's all he said.
And does he have any known criminal history with this department or any other that you know?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, I remember. So the fact, we kind of talked about it too, that he doesn't have a criminal history really doesn't mean anything, obviously. I mean, there's been so many other cases, including Chris Watts, whether you believe his involvement was 100% or partially, he had no criminal history besides a speeding ticket. And look what ended up happening to his entire family. It's just the criminal record. It's just like, doesn't mean anything because these people are just so sneaky for so long. That's what I wanted to say. Thanks for your patience, guys.
That was Bob Johnson, the sheriff of Santa Rosa County in Florida, announcing at a press conference Sunday that a suspect is in custody following the discovery of Cassie Carli's body. Marcus Spanevelo, who shares a child with Cassie, was arrested and is being held in Tennessee on charges of tampering with evidence, giving false information concerning a missing persons investigation, and destruction of evidence. Still with us, private investigators Mike Peasley and Jason Jensen, and also joining us now in Pensacola, Florida, a private investigator who worked on the search for Cassie Carli. Lauren Vellucci is with us. Thanks again for all of you being with us. And Lauren, thank
Yeah, I agree, Sunny. She said they know how to manipulate the court system, in my opinion. I agree. And you never know if he's setting up false police reports and CPS stuff, like he's creating a paper trail against her. She ended up saying at one point, I think somebody close to her family ended up saying that she went through all these legal issues and was trying to get, full custody and prove that, he wasn't stable or this or that. And it was just, she was hit with like a brick wall. Like it was just an uphill climb. And then they ended up settling on this joint custody every other weekend type thing. Hi, CDT. No problem. You're late. It was spur of the moment. I was able to go live sooner because she is asleep and she passed out so quick. I put like her books and stuff in there, and she like peeped at them, and then next thing I knew, she was passed out. So thanks for being here, guys. We're just going through the court TV thing that was, I think, posted today, and then I have the text messages from Cassie to Marcus during their custody disputes that we'll go through after this.
Thanks to you for joining us this evening. And I want to pick your brain first about this case and the investigation as you were involved in this. Tell us a little bit about your involvement in the investigation.
Well, it's a small community. It's a small area. So when I first heard she went missing, I instantly was like, what can I do? And so I reached out to the family to see if there's anything I could do. The FBI then was involved. So there wasn't a whole lot of help that I could provide for them other than what the FBI and FDLE was already doing. So I said I would search. And so that's exactly what I did. Domestic violence is something that I've experienced in the past. So that put an extra spin on my just wanting to be there to do anything to find her.
All right, so tell us about this search and where you searched and how that came together and the folks that got involved.
Every day was different. It was a very fluid investigation. So the sheriff's department was also in contact with people at the command center. So each day was different. There was days that we searched in dumpsters. There was days that people on paddleboards went out to search the shoreline. There were days that we passed out flyers and just put them anywhere that we could possibly think of. We went to an old amusement park that was in the 90s that was completely wooded and went in there to see if we could find anything. So it was constantly changing and it was really anywhere that they sent us, we were going.
All right, now I also understand that you attended a vigil. Tell us about that vigil and who put that together and how that went.
Yeah, so the searchers, the command center, her family, her friends, we didn't even know if they would be there because the news had just came down that they had found their body. But as you can tell in the last segment, her sister, her family, her friends are so strong. They wanted to be there. So they got on Facebook and said, come out, we're going to celebrate her life. And sunset was her favorite time. And that's exactly what we did. And boy, the community showed up. They all came out. We had some wonderful just things about Cassie that made us feel like we personally knew her, the sheriff there speaking, and it was good. It was a good thing. I think it brought a lot of closure to not only the family, but to the community and the people who feel like they now know Cassie because of this.
You know, Jason Jensen, I want you to speak to how important it is, this community involvement.
I feel like everyone is just well aware that DV situations are very prevalent. And it's just sad that even though he's been arrested, and I feel like even law enforcement has said they feel like they're going to have a good case, it's just at what expense? You know, another tragedy, another child has to grow up without her mother. It's just, I guess the best thing we can do is just share her story and raise awareness. And like we were saying earlier, learn from it, I guess.
And folks going out, doing this type of searching, holding these type of vigils, all that plays a part in helping to solve these types of crimes.
Oh, yes, they do. I mean, to be clear, there's a lot that goes into finding a missing person. You don't know where they disappeared to. So clearly, a department has a finite number of its deputies, if it's a sheriff's office. And so they really need to reach out to the community to have as many feet on the ground, searching every possibility, because before you know it, evidence gets spoiled and there's no way to find out what happened to the person once they do find them.
Now, Mike Peasley, were you surprised at how close to the vest the sheriff was with information? Didn't really want to give information about how he found out certain things like the connection to the property of the person that was arrested. Didn't want to give very much information at all. Are you surprised by that?
No, because when you got an open investigation like that, there's certain things that you want to keep at arms, especially if he lawyered up. The state has, obviously evidence that the sheriff has. They know what's going on with.
And I guess just getting this professional's opinion right here, we can apply to other cases, such as the Summer Wells case. And we've said over and over, and CDT and Alex Erickson are always covering Summer Wells case, which is an ongoing open investigation. This channel does as also, but in case anyone's interested, I recommend those outlets in addition. But so, obviously the sheriffs know more than what we know, and they're not going to release so much. So here we're looking at the Summer Wells case coming up on a year, and we're like, why don't we have more information? So it's going to be protected. It's going to be held close to the vest. And maybe just hearing this expert's opinion and reiterating that, like, it's not unusual that they're hiding their source of how they connected this barn to Marcus. Everything like that is going to be used in courtroom or, with the lawyers. It's just, they're going to connect the dots and pretty much, so to speak, throw it in the other side's face, everything they know. So maybe that gives us more hope for the missing child case, Summer Wells, just to kind of know, like, maybe there is stuff that they know or in our building, and we have to hold out on just the aspect, like this guy's saying, they're going to keep things private, especially if there's a lawyer involved, which in both cases, it seems here, this case and Summer Wells, there is rumors to be lawyers involved.
The state attorney's office or district attorney's office. So it doesn't surprise me that he was closed-lipped with that.
Now, the person arrested, Marcus Spanevelo, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his name. I do want to emphasize he is innocent until proven guilty. So we do not know if he was in fact connected to this. But Lauren, I want to check in with you when you found out what the ultimate result of the search was and what was found. What was your reaction to that? Well, I'm sure you were hoping against hope that she would be found alive, but unfortunately that wasn't the case.
Yeah, it was crushing. We were actually out there waiting to get our next area to search when the press conference happened, and we all kind of watched it together, and it was crushing. But I knew that was what the family wanted, was to be able to find her and to bring her home. And it happened relatively fast. They were on it. And when I spoke to her father, when I met them and her friends, I told them, I said, listen, he gave you guys a gift by having that 35-foot trailer on his truck, because going through surveillance would have taken forever. So I think they were really on top of it and knew the direction he went. And I'm so happy that they found her, and he put her in a grave. He put a roof over her head so that her body will be able to tell a story. It's going to let us know what happened, and we will get him in court, and hopefully Court TV tries it or covers it so that we can see it, because she needs justice.
Yes, and once again, just a reminder to you folks, there's still an autopsy to be performed. That's why there are no murder charges just as yet. If in fact it turns out there was a cause of death that warrants it, then we'll probably see them. All right, Lauren, I want to thank you so much for joining me this evening. Truly appreciate all of your insights. Thanks very much. Jason Jensen, Mike Peasley, you're going to stay with me for a little bit longer. It is time now for a quick break, but there is still a lot more to come. Here's a look at what's ahead on Closing Argument.
If you want to eat healthy and feel your best,
my gut tells.
for 70
All right, so Jeepers. Okay, sorry. Now I'll just pull up those text messages from Twitter and I'll read through them. And again, these were from 2019 during their custody proceedings. So let me just pull that up, share my screen. And again, thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate you. So even though they just keep emphasizing, and we've already made it clear that we're very happy so far with the way that law enforcement has, executed this tragedy. we've already kind of played around with the idea, was this or wasn't this premeditated? Sister says they think it was. Here we have it being executed so quickly, and it just going downhill for this guy because, like the sheriff said, he's a dirtbag. He's clearly not a very smart one. So it's crazy. Like, it does appear to be probably premeditated, and yet this guy's just a buffoon. So even though it's really small for you guys, I'll be reading it from my phone. So I'll leave it like this while I read from my phone. Oh my gosh, it's so tiny. All right, so on October 25th, it looks like 2019. Yes, Karen, and not waiving extradition. Yep. I'm pretty sure he'll be going back to Florida, right? So, October 25th, 2019 are these text messages between the two. Marcus's phone. Listen, I don't have time to be going back and forth on this. Enough with that, with what attorney said. It doesn't matter what he said. I can take care of her next week. And then this is, wait, what is this? Yeah, this is between Cassie. Marcus, I have offered you so many, or is this her lawyer? Says Miss Nagalat. Okay, hold on. Marcus, I have offered you so many extra days in exchange for this next weekend, and I'm trying so hard to work together and co-parent Sailor. At this point, I'm not going to give you any extra time since you clearly do not care and do not want to work together with me. Since you just replied that you could take the time off, I will be making sure I change our agreement that when she is sick, you are required to take off work equal to me. I'm done talking about this. Have a good day. I'd be fine. I'd be just fine if you would make the days I have her equal to yours. So I am keeping Sailor next week or not. And that's from Marcus. And then this is Cassie. You work out of town. I'm done talking about this. Marcus, where I work is my own problem. Again, there's a lot of typos here, so sorry if it sounds like I'm stumbling. He puts like if instead of is. Where I work is my own problem. I need an answer if I'm keeping her next week or not. And then this is her. I exchanged the weekend of September 20th for the weekend of November 2nd. You should contact your attorney. I don't understand why we can't work together. And then this is Marcus' response. We didn't exchange. I'm not going to have to be having an argument about this. You made up your mind again. I have no saying on the subject. Then this is her. You had a say so on September when your attorney asked about it. I'm not trying to go against you. I've been begging you. We have to be a team. The rest of our lives will suck. What do you want from me? To quit arguing, he said. Can we please work together? I will give you the following weekend too. This just means so much to me. And that's from her. And this is also from her. I hope you will find it in your heart to know how much this means to me. Let me know if you would like to see Sailor this weekend. And then it goes on. Him, this weekend is not my weekend. Next weekend is my weekend. I'm offering to share this weekend with you. Sailor, my father, and I are going to North Carolina for my nephew's baby shower next weekend. I have told you this for weeks, and I've begged you and pleaded you for you to work with me. I respect your requests about my mother. However, you cannot keep Sailor from her own family members. I'm still extending the offer for you to see her this weekend. I have shared with you the dates and times. I have asked for you to work with me, and I just do not know why you will not. Please let me know if you would like to see her this weekend. Thanks, Marcus. I also offered you to join if you are concerned about her safety. Come with us. Then this is Marcus. Listen, I'm getting tired of telling you that I don't want to argue about that. There is a judicial order in place that tell us what to do. I'm following the order, she said. There is nothing wrong with me offering more time and willing to work with each other. He says, I'm done talking about this. You made your point and I've made mine, and we are not in agreement. If you text me about this again, I'll ignore. Wow, he's just a jerk. Her, on another note, if you are in town, would you like to have a night or time with Sailor this weekend? Him, I wasn't planning on being in town since it's not my weekend with Sailor, so I won't be in town. And then this is her. This is all on the same day, guys, October 25th. And hi, Kay Danielle. Thanks for being here. Hello, Punksy, Scottish Queen. Hello. So glad you guys made it. So what do you guys think so far? He's just not willing to bend or work with her. And again, this is related to the child and exchanging. And she had a baby shower to go to, it sounds like, with a family member. So it's just, yeah, Katie, I agree. He is an ass for sure. And then this is her last text to him, it looks like. Hold on, let me make sure. Oh, wait, no, there's more. So she says, okay, it's funny because I offered other weekends that were not your weekends, and you were back in Florida as soon as possible for that time. But okay, Marcus, please remember, if anything, it's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about my family nor your family. The bottom line is Sailor, what is best for her. I will respect you when it's reasonable. I pray you will do the same in the future for our daughter. She wants us happy. When we are happy, she is happy. She doesn't need any stress or anxiety. We will have to work together. I'm willing to 100%. Have a good night. And then she's sharing him videos of their dog. There's doesn't play the video. It's just a screenshot of her sending it. It said, I wanted to share. She loves her dog and the old man loves her too. Talking about the dog. And then there's another one. And these are on the 27th of October, 2019. This one's on Halloween 2019. Or yeah. Have you given her calamari? She likes it. And then she sent pictures of them together to him. Here's a few photos. We are having a great time. We went to the aquarium today. We went to a trick-or-treat at the house and church across from my sister, and I'm taking her truck and trick-or-treating tonight. She is happy and everything is good. Would you like to have her Sunday night and take her to daycare? Just wanted to offer. So she's like trying to make things work with him and give him extra time. But when she needs something from him, he's not willing to budge, and he's stubborn because, you know, obviously he resents her for whatever reason. She walked away from him. Maybe he's unhappy with whatever arrangement they came to with child support or court, whatever, you know, so it just goes on. This is November 4th, 2019. She says, hi, Marcus. I'm not sure if you want to have Sailor this weekend. Please let me know if you would like to. Also, I was put in part-time as of today for a few weeks until I find another job. My office is closing. That being said, I can only hope that you will make your payments on time for Sailor's needs. I appreciate it. Okay, so it does seem like maybe he hadn't made payments on time in the past. Not sure. Let me read on. This weekend is your weekend, he said. I mentioned before I would like to give you my weekend when we got back. If you don't want it, that is perfectly fine. Daycare is closed on Monday the 11th. Can you watch her? I didn't agree to an exchange, he said. As of the 11th, if you can't watch her, I can, but I wouldn't be able to return her to you before the following weekend. She says she can't miss daycare for the rest of the week. He said, why can't she? She just did last week with you. She said, I'm not sure why you would have to keep her for the whole week. She is allowed 3 days a month without a doctor's note. Also, I'm not sure who you are going to let watch her while you're at work during the week. And he said, well, you asked if I could keep her. I've answered to you what I can do. She said, I'm going to need help on days daycare is closed or when she is sick. It's not fair for me to put my jobs in jeopardy because you work out of town and can't help it. Who would be watching Sailor the whole week that you would take her? Never mind, it doesn't matter because she can't miss more than 3 days without a doctor's note. So now it's all on me again. I'll make sure she's taken care of on the 11th. Do you want her Friday or Saturday for one night this weekend? He replies, I'm not taking any time in exchange for anything. If you can't handle her, you make it clear that is reason why you want me to take care of her. What? If you can't handle her, you make it clear that is the reason why you want me to take care of her. I don't know what he means. But yeah, those are the text message between the two. So once again, it just seems he's very difficult with her. I that's the only word I can kind of describe it as. Obviously, there is a court order that's telling them to do it this way, but it seems as though there's been times in the past where she's let him take her and he's been okay with it. So here, she needs a favor, and of course, he's hitting her with combativeness, I guess you could say. And again, these text messages are from years ago, just during their battle of custody and what they were going to do. And she, I guess, had put these in for evidence or as part of that. Let me see if there's an update at all. Five minutes ago, ex hit with over $5,000 in lawyer fees days before beloved mom found in barn. What's this? Give me a second to get a drink of water. How's chat doing? Okay, let me share my screen because I just clicked on that article. This came out today, again, a couple minutes ago on Twitter. The former boyfriend of slain Florida mom Cassie Carli owed $5,000 in court fees in connection to years of court custody battles, court records indicate. As Crime Online previously reported, Marcus Spanevelo, I feel like I've seen his last name spelled different ways in different articles. Oh, gosh. Yeah, look here with an E. I don't know. Was arrested Sunday and charged with tampering with evidence, which was the cell phone that they told us, and giving false information in a missing person investigation. His arrest is in connection with the disappearance of his, what? They said wife here. What is this? Crime Online? Isn't that? Look, Nancy Grace. Come on, Nancy. They were never married. And what are you guys doing in chat? Sounds like he wants her to put in writing that she can't raise the baby alone. Yeah, the way he ended it with that, if he gets custody if he gets something in writing, he can get full custody. Oh, can he? I don't know. But that was years ago. And I don't know, maybe they looked at that a certain way too. And the judge, I mean, when they were going through the proceedings, I wonder what they thought. Oh, okay, cool. Drive safe, Punksy. All right, anyways, let's see what else this article has to say, even though we've caught them in errors thus far. All right, his arrest is in connection with the disappearance of his wife, Cassie Carli, who was found deceased Saturday in an Alabama barn on property that Spanevelo reportedly has ties to. An autopsy is currently underway, which happened Monday morning, and they're waiting on additional information for that. Additional charges against Spanevelo are possible. Fox News reports that before Carli's disappearance, Spanevelo filed numerous motions against her, asking for temporary custody of their daughter, a request for daycare attendance, another motion for contempt, and multiple petitions in family court. Days before Carli vanished, a judge ordered Spanevelo to pay almost $6,000 in attorney fees stemming from years of filing motions against her. The expenses have gotten so severe that Carli was started a GoFundMe page which claimed that Spanevelo was a master manipulator and abuser. Right, because remember, the sister mentioned that GoFundMe. So now I'm thinking like him having that like public humiliation would be more, even though, you know, he was abusive and manipulative against her and positive. But just think about him being a narcissist possibly. And again, this is just my opinion. If he was publicly shamed in a way where they had like a GoFundMe going around about the way he was against the sister and lawyer fees, this and that, like that would possibly hurt his ego and, you know, pride, which is so important to a narcissist. So I agree, BL, and it definitely appeared that Cassie tried so hard. It is very tragic. All right, let me continue this. This man was a master at the game of manipulation, and though I could see all the warning signs of an abuser, I believed his excuses became stuck in his web of narcissistic lies, Cassie wrote on the GoFundMe. Oh, that is a direct quote from her. Let me read it again. This is Cassie's words on the GoFundMe. This man was a master at the game of a manipulation, and though I could see all of the warning signs of an abuser, I believed his excuses and became stuck in his web of narcissistic lies. During my pregnancy, this man's abusive control and manipulation escalated. But having battled infertility in my first marriage, I desperately wanted a family, so I justified his erratic behavior as long as I could. Oh. She probably thought at least she had the daughter out of whatever hell he put her through. We can only actually know that, I mean, we know that even though you go through tough times, like having your children around you or, you know, your little ones around you, they can actually make things so much better. And even though she went through all this stuff with him, we know the first 4 years of the little one's life, their mother was just doting, from what I can tell. Carli was last seen in a parking lot. Okay, this just goes through everything that we've already known. During routine custody exchange, she never made it home. Father living in Florida with her, sent her a text. This just goes through the background. But since we've been dealing with him, he's been acting like a dirtbag, and that's the sheriff. I don't see him changing. But what are you guys thinking? Then again, they're confident that they have a good case, which is very comforting to know. Hi, Sonia. Agree, Karen. It's just so sad and it's almost like a tale as old as time type story, isn't it? Sadly. I did a little clip of the sister's statement. Let me see if there's any update on Twitter. No, this article, which we've caught having false information in it, is pretty much the most recent update, which was a few minutes ago. Let me share that video that I did today, which was already in that Court TV segment, but it's just the sister's statement that I've put together, which kind of gives you more like fluidity of what she's trying to convey as far as who her sister was to her, etc. So let me share that with you. And then, until we get more information back on the autopsy and the toxicology, which could take a while, there's not much more to kind of report or expose besides what I've already done in my other videos regarding this case. So if you missed those, then you're more than welcome to watch those on replay. But as of right now, this pretty much is what it is. So more information is obviously required. All right, let me just share my screen. And again, thanks for being here, guys. Yeah, the sister said, instantly got a bad vibe from him.
This is a difficult time for you, so we truly appreciate you joining us on the show. And I'll begin with you by asking you how you and the family are, in fact, holding up.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, we're holding up. We're okay. We got Taylor coming on the way home, and so we'll have a little piece of Cassie with us, and we're going to be just fine. Thank you so much.
All right, and I wanted to turn next to the good news, the fact that the child is alive, and it sounds like it's going to be a happy reunion. Tell us a little bit about that, how she's doing, and what's going to happen going forward.
Oh, she's doing amazing. We're looking forward to having her back home with Grandpa and Auntie and everyone else, just ready to shower her with a bunch of love. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic news. Tell us a little bit about Cassie. I know you were on recently. For those who might have missed it, tell us a little bit about her, what she was like, what she'd like to do.
Oh, my sister, she loved the beach so much. Outdoors paddleboarding. She's just got the biggest smile that you walk into a room or she walks in and just lights the whole thing up. She is one of a kind and truly the brightest soul I've ever been honored to know.
Rayanne, the sheriff mentioned that, in fact, he thought this might bring closure, the fact that they were able to find your sister. I wanted to check in with you. Did, in fact, it provide that for you?
Oh, yes. Tremendous relief and closure. We're just so happy we can bring her home and make her comfortable now and celebrate her life.
If something were to happen to her, they would know where to look. And that, of course, was the gentleman who was arrested, Marcus Spanevelo. Did you know him at all, or did she talk about their relationship at all?
Yes. Yes. And I had met him the very first night. I got a bad vibe from him and let her know. There were many red flags right from the start. And my sister, she'd always feared, and she was taking the proper steps. There were many exchanges where my father did ride with her, and he has a concealed carry. And she was taking the proper steps. Just unfortunately, that's why we fear it may be planned, because he was extremely nice and recently. So I think she had her guard down a little bit.
But I want to give you an opportunity to say some last words to our audience. We'll continue to follow this case. Of course, anything you would like to leave us with.
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know I appreciate all the condolences and support, and thank you for helping bring Cassie home. Mission was accomplished, and we are starting the Cassie Carli Foundation, so please stay tuned. My sister's story lives on.
So that was the sister's statement, and yes, I agree, Tony. You have to trust your gut. If it feels wrong, it usually is. sadly, yeah. And the sister got a bad vibe, expressed it, hindsight's 2020, but yeah. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the update. If we get more of like text messages or anything like that, I will definitely, bring it to you guys if I'm in a position to go live, or if I'll make a video like pre-recorded, or if I just post something to my community page. I really appreciate everyone. I agree, Karen. Her family is very strong. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My next live stream, I'm pretty certain, will be the Kurt Cobain death investigation. Today, actually, 1994 was the day his body was discovered. It was classified as something other than a murder, which I believe it was a murder. So we've gone through that on my channel. Summer Wells on my channel. We dig into everything and anything. So I really appreciate you guys being here today. And yeah, we will talk very, very soon. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you. And talk soon.